Yes, I can.
Okay. Okay, Jules, you want to call the roll, please?
Good afternoon, everybody. Randy Ruby. Tony Chemnitz.
Here.
Todd Horn.
Here.
Marvin Nevelier.
Here.
Bryce Schonborn is excused. Timothy Westfall.
Here.
Robert Hahn. Jason McMillan.
Here.
Roger Patrick is not here. And Dennis Wartwell.
Here.
Oh, and Gail Stangl. So sorry. I don't think she's here. All right.
I thought she isn't even on the list anymore, is she? On agenda.
She was sent a notification and then she requested to not be on the list anymore, but she said she was gonna attend in the email. I'm not entirely sure what the situation is there.
Okay. Okay. Public comment. Is there any public comment? There's nobody in the gallery, so is there anybody online? Press *6 to unmute yourself. Hearing none. Is there any communications from the commission members? Hearing none, we have the minutes from September the 5th, 2024. What's your pleasure on the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, Jason, second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Law enforcement reports. Price County Sheriff's Department. Bob?
So far this year, we've had 141 crashes, 26 of which were injury crashes, and then 3 fatalities. With the 3 fatalities, actually 2 of them, I do find it interesting. We had 2 fatalities and 2 separate crashes about it was less than a month apart, right, Todd?
Yeah, a matter of feet apart.
Right, and pretty much at the same location, State Highway 13 north of the city of Park Falls near Hamilton Road.
That's a straight road there.
It's a straight road, and I want to say one of them was a head-on.
Well, the one guy turned out for a deer or something or got going across the line and hit.
Yep, and then the other, I'm not sure if they were trying to turn into that storage unit that
Yeah.
was there, but they have pretty much, it was feet apart from each other. I can't think of any road conditions that would have played a factor in either one of those. And then the third fatality we had was a motorcycle fatality at the intersection of US Highway 8 and State Highway 13 there on the on-ramp going northbound on 13. That there was impairment with that fatality. We have had 12 crashes where impaired driving was a factor. Year to date, we've had so far 64 OWI reports as well. So it's kind of where the county's at right now.
That it? Thanks. Marv, you got anything?
No, I don't have anything at this time.
Okay. Timothy Westfall, State Patrol, you got anything?
Nothing to share.
Nothing to share. Wisconsin Department of Transportation, Law Enforcement Liaison, Todd. What you got?
Share the screen right now. My mic. All right. So let's make sure this forwards like it should. Okay. So this presentation is a little different than the other ones that I've given before. And of course, I always start out with some statistics. Normally, I don't necessarily follow the quarter, but I go by your last meeting date, which was been on September 5th. I searched all K, so fatal, serious, minor possible and property damage crashes, 35 crashes with 3 fatals and 10 injuries since we last met. Since the year began, same search criteria, 139 crashes, 3 fatals, and 26 injuries. Wisconsin fatality totals, probably kind of hard for you to see there, but as of December 1st, Wisconsin has had 456 crashes that have involved a fatality with 518 people being killed. If you take a look, I'll send the slides out to everyone as I always do, so you can look at this later on. But if you look at the 5-year average, we're a little bit below that at this time. Over the 5-year average, we're at 539 and we're at 518. Come on. Okay. So again, this will be easier when you're looking at it on your own screen, but this is a fatality milestone by date. So if you look in the early, at the turn of the century, 2001, we were at 7 and approaching 800 fatalities for the year. And we reached, back in 2001, we reached 700 fatalities on December 10th. If you notice, by 2008, they started trending down, and we've been around 500 fatalities since then. Down at the very bottom, those are the last couple of years. And in 2024, we reached 501 fatalities. In 2024, we reached 501 fatalities on November 8th. So, fatal crash review. 3 fatals that occurred since we last met, and we were briefly speaking about them, and I'll just go into a little more detail. And Bob, you certainly have a lot more knowledge about these, so if there's anything that you want to add or fill in, by all means. The first one is on highway, will be the ramp of US Highway 8 at Highway 13, and this is a town apprentice. The Price Sheriff's Office handled it. It occurred on September 12th at 11:02 p.m. We had good conditions, dry, clear. It was dark with a left curve and an upward because it's a ramp. So motorcycle entered the ditch, which caused the motorcycle to lay down, which resulted in a fatal injury to the operator. So the deputy put information in the call, but that's essentially what it is down below in the narrative. This is an overview of the crash scene. And he was going off 8 and going up north on 13 and on the ramp and went into the gravel, I believe, and then just kind of laid it down, lost control. This is a street view of that ramp. You can see that little red dot is about where he ended up. Lately I've been doing a community map search whenever we have a crash, because everyone wants to know, well, what's the crash history at that location. So that little box kind of boxes it in. And since January 2014, by not selecting deer crashes, we were at 6 crashes with 1 fatal and 2 injury in that little box that I selected. So unit 1 was a 2018 Harley Davidson operated by a 44-year-old male, and he did have a fatal injury, no ground EMS transport. He was wearing a helmet. He was suspected to have alcohol with a test pending. Unknown if the driver was distracted, but they failed to control, ran off the roadway, inattentive and careless operation of the vehicle. No other discussion on that one. I'll move on to the next one. Excuse me. State Highway 13, 318 feet south of Hamilton Road. This is the town of Lake. State Patrol handled this crash, and this occurred on October 19th at 5:58 a.m. We had decent road conditions. They were dry, cloudy, and dark with a straight and level roadway. Pickup and a sedan struck each other front to front, but slightly offset. Reading the the troopers' statements in the narrative, it appears that they were oncoming, and at the last minute, maybe the vehicle kind of veered into the other lane. This is an overview of the crash. There's actually 2 dots showing there because there's another crash that I'll be reviewing following this, but that's how close they occurred. This is a view of the crash scene. So there's no road conditions. Matter of fact, you can see the mumble strips on the side. I don't think there's none in the center line. but that maybe would have helped. I don't know, but certainly I don't see any conditions there that would warrant, So searching community maps from that location, not selecting any deer, I see 3 crashes with 2 fatals and 2 injuries. Of course, we just had the 2 fatals, so. Unit 1 was a 2020 Ford F-150 operated by a 71-year-old male with serious injury and ground transport for EMS. They were wearing a seatbelt and had a deployed airbag. They were not ejected or trapped. I'm sorry, they were not ejected but trapped with extrication being required. Suspected alcohol with a test pending. Unknown if driver 1 was distracted. Driver 1 failed to control, ran off roadway, inattentive and careless manner of operation. Unit number 2 was a 2003 Buick LeSabre operated by a 56-year-old male with a fatal injury, no ground EMS transport. He was not wearing a seatbelt with airbag deployment, trapped with extrication. Test for alcohol, drugs still pending. Unknown if driver 1 was distracted. Driver 2 failed to keep vehicle in designated lane and caused the crash. And now, of course, this is the same location. Different type of crash. This is a rear end crash. So this happened roughly a month later on November 8th at 6:32 p.m. Again, we had good road conditions, dry, clear, and dark with a straight and level roadway. An SUV rear-ended a compact truck and then rolled over was really what happened. So Unit 1 was traveling northbound on Highway 13. Unit 1 slowed down and initiated a left-hand turn into a driveway. Unit 1 was rear-ended by Unit 2. Unit 2 was traveling northbound on 13 following Unit 1. Unit 2 did not see Unit 1 and was making a left-hand turn. Unit 2 attempted to swerve and miss Unit 1. Unit 2 struck the rear left side of Unit 1. Unit 2 rolled over after striking Unit 1. Unit 1 landed on its tires after rolling over as well. Overview of the crash scene. I'm assuming that's the house. Maybe they're pulling in that driveway right there. Same street view, same location, same crash data. Unit 1 was a 99 Ford Ranger operated by a 40-year-old male with no injury or ground EMS transport. Driver was wearing a seatbelt with no deployed airbag, not ejected or trapped, no suspected alcohol with no test pending, and driver 1 had no contributing factors to the crash. Unit 2 was an 08 Ford Escape operated by an 80-year-old female with minor injury and ground EMS transport. Driver was not wearing a seatbelt with airbag deployment. Test for alcohol and drugs pending. Passenger of Unit 2 was a 76-year-old female with no seatbelt but airbag deployed, not ejected or trapped, but received ground EMS transport. Died later at the hospital. I don't know if that was a day or 2 later, something like that.
I want to say it was like 30 days later.
Oh, was it that long?
It was quite a.
Okay.
It was 2 or 3 weeks later.
Oh, wow. Okay. Driver number 2 issued UTC for following too closely. So normally when you see 2 crashes in the same location within a month apart, it really makes you scratch your head. But I mean, I've seen it before with other counties. I mean, I'm not seeing anything unless someone sees something different than myself. It's, driver error on both occasions. So moving on, in 2025, there will be drug recognition expert training, DRE. So the information, you'll all receive this. So if there's any law enforcement agencies that need to send anybody, that's coming up. Community maps, that's still available to anyone that wants to take part in that, second Monday of each month. There's another item that has been added to the community maps, and that is the TSC toolbox. So it's located under TSC resources. So it's a program that Dane County TSC put together, and some of it, you go to different counties, not everything is applicable to everyone. But if someone's new to TSCs or they want to organize something or if they have questions, these are not necessarily written in stone, but best practices when you're conducting a TSC. So take a look at it. All you got to do is go on community maps under TSC resources, and you'll see TSC toolbox. Traffic incident management, TIM training. Wisconsin is ranked 9th nationally, so we're doing pretty good at it. We want to keep going, but we have, I think, approximately for those first responders and those targeted professionals, traffic safety professionals, we're at 59%, so that's good. Also, new TIM modules will be coming out in the fall, and they'll be focusing on electrical vehicle fires. So how to deal with those. If it's not here, it's coming. So this is the other part of the presentation that I wanted to more or less have a conversation, more so than me just sitting here and putting information out towards you. But the governor's conference, there's a gentleman by the name of Jay Otto, who is from Montana State University and is a traffic safety expert. And these are his slides. By no means are these mine. He has shared them with us so that we could, I guess, share with traffic safety commissions throughout our state. So the other LELs are doing this as well. But I want to have a conversation about traffic safety and traffic safety culture more specifically. So everything starts out with one understanding, is that the main concern that we have, why we have traffic safety commissions, why we have, sheriff's offices and fire departments and EMS, traffic safety is a public health issue. We just got done talking about 3 fatalities, and all 3 of those individuals should be living. There's no reason other than the fact that, they made either some decisions or they failed to pay attention to what they were doing, or there were circumstances outside of their control. But either way, the end result is the same, that they're deceased. And again, this is a public health issue. So it begins with beliefs. A lot of people have the beliefs when it comes to driving their vehicles. It won't happen to me. I'm an above average driver. I can multitask. I won't get caught. These beliefs then can lead towards the behaviors that we are most concerned about. So aggressive driving, speeding, lack of seatbelt use, impaired driving. Eventually those bad behaviors catch up to people, and there's negative consequences. The negative consequences are the crashes. So fatalities, serious injuries, emotional distress, healthcare, workplace costs, mobility, even traffic delays and congestion. So it kind of makes sense, doesn't it, that the beliefs you have lead to the behaviors and ultimately the consequences. So the core idea moving forward is that we want to focus on growing the beliefs to shift behaviors to change consequences. And everyone usually thinks about kids and driver's ed and starting all over again, but adults are the same way. And to get the information out there and to change the beliefs in your community is important. So traffic safety culture is shared values and beliefs of a group of people that influence behaviors that impact traffic safety. What's the traffic safety culture of Price County, of Park Falls, of Phillips? Is this community okay with drunk driving, or is this community not tolerate that? Or are there social norms that allow distracted driving or non-seatbelt use? Some people have those beliefs, some people don't. So where do these beliefs come from? Wisconsin's traffic safety culture starts with the individual down below. But what is the social ecology of this? What does social ecology mean? It's how people interact with one another and how their environment influences that. We just had a big snowstorm, or ongoing snowstorm, and you don't deal with that down in Florida. You deal with it differently maybe in Dane County versus Price County versus Brown County. So some of it is your environment, but also we're talking about beliefs here as well. Where do the beliefs come from? Well, family and peers are a strong influence on individuals, but also schools, workplaces, organizations like churches, clubs, or maybe just, friends, and also the community in general. Growing traffic safety culture, focus on growing shared values and beliefs that influence behaviors that will change consequences. So we want to encourage safe driving and safe decisions and discourage chance taking. Then we move into technical versus adaptive challenges. Well, a technical challenge could be something like following a recipe or building a rocket ship, which very few people can do in the world, versus an adaptive challenge. Something subjective like raising a child. If you ask 100 people what's the best way to raise a child, you'll probably get 100 different answers. So that's an adaptive challenge. Also, growing your traffic safety commission or getting to 0 preventable deaths in the state of Wisconsin. The most common cause of failure in leadership is produced by treating adaptive challenges as if they were technical problems. So we obviously have laws on the books that discourage speeding, distracted driving, OWI, and then we also have law enforcement there. That's the technical side of it, but we also want to get the educational component, and we want to change, people's ideas. I can speak from experience that it's a lot easier when people decide to behave themselves on their own than when I tried to make them do so as a law enforcement officer. Can't be everywhere all at once. So tips to grow traffic safety culture: recognize getting to zero fatalities and serious injuries as an adaptive challenge. I think we all can agree that it's very difficult to do and that it takes the whole community to do so. Secondly, raise concern and hope. Get the word out. It's not good enough to just say this is a bad thing and move on. And what we need to do is a concerted effort to maybe as a community get together and push that message out continually. Think across the social ecology. What beliefs and behaviors do we need to grow across the state of Wisconsin? What are we most concerned about? And finally, improve the quality of implementation of existing countermeasures. Maybe the Park Falls Police Department or the Sheriff's Office, they have a night out or they have DARE. What can we do to increase the effectiveness of those programs? Any questions about that? So that part of the presentation leads into what I've been doing as an LEL. So one of my counties that I respond to, much like Price County, is Racine County. They're a very urban county for the state of Wisconsin. They had a program pre-pandemic called Staying Safe. And what they did, you can see in the upper portion of this poster, are about 10 law enforcement agencies throughout that county that took part and wanted their badge or their patch listed on this poster. And so what the Traffic Safety Commission did was they came up with 12 topics, one for each month of the year. So it could be drunk driving, it could be inattentive driving, it could be move over, slow down, whatever the situation is, whatever the topic was. They got someone that was really good at graphic arts, and they actually teamed up with a local newspaper, and the newspaper printed a bunch of posters, and they went around and they were disseminating these posters. And then someone from the Traffic Safety Commission or someone from one of these agencies once a month would get on the radio and be interviewed when they presented these. The other side of this is obviously posters are kind of outdated. We're more in the social media era. They were using that back then too, but what happened is Racine County is going to start this program up again. So they're moving more towards the social media aspect of this. So they're going to start that up again. And so it's led me to put this in this presentation after Jay Otto's presentation about getting the message out and changing the traffic, the culture. Law enforcement doesn't own traffic safety. You have DOT, you have, fire departments, EMS, you have tow companies, you have area businesses and schools. So the idea behind this is not to just have law enforcement put a Facebook post out there and say they're good enough, but the idea is to get the entire community across the county involved. So if you have businesses that have social media, if you have, county government and, EMS garages and fire departments, and the idea is to saturate it and go on from there. So it's free. Really, the only thing that you need to do is just to get organized and come up with your 12 topics. Sometimes there's tech schools or high schools or people that are very talented in making these electronic posters, I would call them now. So the idea is you'd have a listing of people that are sponsoring this, and then they would disseminate that through social media once it's released. And then if there was maybe an area radio personality or talk radio, or even anyone that would be willing to interview to get the word out that much more. So just moving on with this, I've been presenting this to several TSCs, and I'm getting about half of them that want to do it and about maybe half that don't. But I just was over at Florence County yesterday, and they want to jump on this. My home county of Columbia, they're going to do that. Grant County, which is one of my counties in extreme southern Wisconsin, they're going to do it. Of course, Racine. So just putting this out there, it's an option. What Columbia County did is we created a subcommittee and I'm on it. And we're just getting organized. And the other thing is, the whole idea is to bombard the community with these messages so that it's not just coming from law enforcement or just coming from, the fire department, but you want to get schools involved as well, because most government agencies have Facebook for social media. A lot of schools have TikTok and Snapchat and all these other, things that you can get out to kids and make it a broader, message. So that's about it on that. I don't know if anyone has any questions. If anyone wants to look into this more, I do have a lot of posters and things from Racine County that I can forward on to the commission here. So thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Traffic safety engineer, Randy.
Give me just a second here. I have to. Nope, that's the wrong one. Hold on.
Oh, yeah. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Randy Ruby. I've been with Wisconsin DOT for about 5 months now, so I'm still kind of new. But I will be representing Price County at least for next year as scheduled, so. Okay, so WISOT North Central Region's Commission's report for Price County. So no projects in 2024, but this presentation will cover the upcoming 2025 WISOT construction projects and then any other items of interest. You can go to the next slide. Thanks, Todd. 511 Wisconsin construction projects. I'm sure everyone's aware of this website, but if you want a more in-depth look into some of the projects that I'll be talking about today, you can visit this website, and it provides weekly road construction updates as well as extended project information. All right, so for 2025, we have 3 projects on Wisconsin 13. First one, there's a 1.9 mile pavement replacement in Phillips from County D to County F. Second one is a 2.2 mile pavement replacement in Park Falls from North Fork Flambeau River Bridge to 5th Street. And the last one on Wisconsin 13, 12.5 mile pavement resurfacing between Phillips and Fifield. All right, and then on Wisconsin 111, 10.6 mile pavement resurfacing between Catawba and Wisconsin 13 from US Highway 8 to Wisconsin 13. Wisconsin 102 will be a 6 mile pavement resurfacing between Rib Lake and Spirit. And then one county project on County O, there'll be a bridge replacement over the South Fork Jump River Bridge. I think that's all the projects were. Did anyone have any questions for me or Tony?
I guess for the pavement replacement projects, are you guys looking at setting up detours, or is traffic still going to be able to move through while controlled, just for,
Yeah.
emergency services?
I did look up on the 3 Wisconsin 13 projects that the one side of the roadway will be open, so they'll just have traffic going through there, but no detour.
Okay.
So paving whatever one side and then the other side next. So I'm unsure with the other projects, so I have to look at those. Oh, you can go to the next slide. I think there's one more. But this is just my contact information. Again, my name's Randy Ruby, Traffic Operations. North Central Region, I'm in the Rhinelander office, and all my counties are kind of north, at least for next year. So that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. School transportation report, Jason.
I have nothing to report at this time.
Okay. Attorney Bryce Shaneborn isn't here. Gail isn't here. I have nothing to report. And Roger isn't here. Oh, is Roger online? Oh, he did sneak in, huh? Got anything for us, Roger?
Yeah, I guess I can share with you next year's projects. So next year it'll be RR and C. Both of those are south of 86. So C is going to be from 86 to YY. RR is going to be from C to 86. We're going to do about 4-mile stretch on D that is north of 86. So I'd be like halfway between from 86 to halfway to 8. And then we are going to do a small section of M on the east side of 13 there, south of O. DOT covered our County Highway O bridge. Other than that, the roads, all the state highways opened up now, so snow's done. Road should be good. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Roger. Next meeting date.
We have the next meeting set at March 6, 2025. I do. So we have March 6th, June 5th, September 4th, and December 4th of next year. Just to confirm, Mr. Chair, would this be at 1 p.m.
Yes.
in March? Perfect.
Yes. What was the September date? The 11th or the 4th?
September 4th.
Okay. And the December date would be the 4th also?
Yes.
Yeah, I got them all in. If nobody else has anything, we will adjourn. Short meeting.